Almost every home has a few standard tools, right? Hammer, cordless, tape measure, the usual suspects. But as design-centric consumers and unique use cases continue to emerge and grow, there are an equal number of interesting options of those traditional tools we all have at home, and in this video we'll take a look at some of them to see if they're worth considering when pitted against their more traditional or normal counterparts, beginning with a compact screwdriver. On the normal side, I have here the Vera Stubby. These compact or stubby drivers were created for getting into tight spaces that regular size drivers cannot fit into. I love this Vera craft form compact. Great ergonomics with quite a substantial circumference to get a decently strong purchase. I think my favorite design element is the internal bit magazine, which is just so well thought out. Firm pressure shoots the revolver-like mag out, and although it's permanently anchored, it both spins freely to get you to the bit you need, and there's this almost ball joint action that provides easier access since this is a very compact tool after all. Love this thing, and like everything else we'll explore in this video, you can find it linked down in the description below if you want to research anything a bit more for yourself. But what about its comparatively more unique or fancy counterpart? This is not a lighter despite being made by Zippo. When I open it up, it instead stores, as you can see, Zippo's own bit-safe driver. The first time I saw this, I thought it looked like the most gimmicky thing on earth. And although I still think it might not be the best choice as a primary compact driver, if you actually have the need to everyday carry some bits, the level of compactness cannot be denied. Out the box, it comes with both standard Phillips heads, a slot, and a T20 Torx. And the Zippo form factor actually lends itself well for a ton of torque in usage too. Of course, depending on what you're screwing, you'll likely have a much better time removing it from the Zippo shell, otherwise the lid can easily get in the way. But all in all, what I chalked up to being strictly a gimmick before is actually both usable and a super convenient form factor. The 3 holder slots at the bottom and of course the primary slot are all magnetic, causing zero jingling in transit, and that compact pocketability might just be perfect for some specific use cases. Bring them both into frame, the Vera, which as hand tools in general go is a more premium brand, and the basic stubby driver comes in at about $25 US, while the Zippo insert comes in at 15, but you of course need to already own a Zippo for its full effect, so if you don't already have a Zippo lighter, that'll set you back another 20. As less and less people smoke, some of you may have a grandparent's or parent's Zippo that has been handed down to you, and if you're a non-smoker, this might be the perfect thing to be able to add true usefulness to an heirloom piece you've inherited. Now, since we started with the compact drivers, let's go to probably the most common tool in virtually every household, and that of course is the regular sized ratcheting screwdriver. On the traditional side, we have here this Milwaukee piece. It does exactly what it says on the tin. Like the Vera, it's got an integrated bit holder revolver style, but at this regular size ships with not 6 but rather 12 commonly used bits. Biggest difference is, of course, the collar switch that's got a locked center position. Then, for tightening, line up the collar selection arrow with the inbound arrow so that it ratchets freely counterclockwise and locks out to the right to tighten. And for loosening, same thing but in reverse. In terms of tools, it doesn't get much more ubiquitous than this. On the fancy end, we've got here the Pocket Driver by Metmo. This is a fascinating rebirth of a near century-old design by Conrad Baumann that actually has real bumps in functionality beyond the cool factor and beauty. Contrary to our standard ratcheting driver where you really only got the one regular fist grip, this guy enables that regular grip, as well as a very torquey pistol grip where you've got a ton of leverage for those very tight, rusted, or seized screws. And going perpendicular, you've got ultra fast tightening for those very long screws that are loose for most of the travel until we get to the very end. And just like the regular ratcheting screwdrivers, this one has the central lockout position, as well as the clockwise and counterclockwise ratcheting ones, with the added delight of being able to actually see the ratcheting in action. Anodization on the aluminum for durability on the barrel and handle, hardened stainless steel where it matters, a neodymium magnet for peak bit retention, and the ability to store 2 hex bits in the body. The top potential benefit is how compact it is, especially for everyday carry, or if, as an example, you're a cyclist and need something small for on-the-trail repairs, and come on, it just looks so awesome. Bringing back our standard one into frame, we can see that there's a near 6 times price difference. Because of that, if I could only choose one, I would probably opt for the standard piece if I were evaluating for most at-home use cases. I mean, yes, the tremendously amplified leverage you get with the Metmo's design is awesome and functional, but for minor tasks like unscrewing outlet plates, we really don't need that extra torque and other features. However, if I needed a durable driver for everyday carry, the sheer compact size alone is worth considering this piece. By the way, for all the drivers we've been talking about so far, one thing I definitely recommend you consider is this 1/4-inch bit and mini ratchet set set by Viha. Bits are arguably the most important part of a screwdriver while we're using one, and a high quality set like these German Vihas will last a literal lifetime and will fit any 1/4-inch hex holding tool. All 4 of the options we've explored so far in this video, and even many multi-tools, from the fun and design-centric pieces like this titanium beer bomb by the notorious EDC, down to the backup multi-tool that lives in the glove box of my car, the SOG Power Pint, where, when closed, accommodates hex bits between the handle hinges. Awesome. And this small package by Viha, top quality bits, fits all of those. With the sheer volume of everyone on earth buying more things online than in physical retail, cardboard boxes can breed like bunnies in our homes. And especially if you live in an apartment building like mine that requires residents to break down cardboard boxes to pieces no longer than 18 inches on any given flat side, a box cutter is an absolutely necessary tool to have at home. On the regular end, we've got the incredible Milwaukee Fastback 6-in-1. Crazy durable hard plastic, button lock for safety and rapid deployment, absolutely zero blade play whatsoever when deployed, simple and rapid blade replacements with a push of a button. I mean, as utility knives go, this is pretty much perfect. It's called the 6-in-1 because it has a few other functionalities too. Tool 1, of course, is the knife. Tool 2 is the wire stripper. Tools 3, 4, and 5 are all over here. Pivoting out, we've got a Phillips driver as tool 3. Spinning the bit around, we've got a slot driver as tool 4. And with the combo bit removed, tool 5 is a 1/4-inch hex nut driver, all secured and retracted with this liner lock. And lastly, tool 6, a bottle opener. Shifting to the fancy end, we've got the Ratcheting XOU. Man, this thing is pretty. And even more than its cool looks, it's so satisfying. I mean, look at the deployment. Step by step in slow motion, release the lock with this magnetically anchored switch, pivot out to open, slide the blade out, pivot in to close, and re-engage that magnetic switch lock. Awesome. Blade swapping is done with this elegant compression cover plate, which, although slower than typical utility blades, is a very satisfying experience. Beyond that, I'm so pleasantly surprised by the fantastic zero corner cutting manufacturing here. I mean, with the blade removed, we can see it a bit more, but this entire blade housing is machined from a single billet, which means in a world where product design is most often approached in a way to optimize for the fastest possible manufacturing, this Ratcheting XOU takes very long to machine out. This is all to say this thing is absolutely awesome. However, bringing the Fastback back into frame at a 4 times price increase with less actual functionality than the Milwaukee, and given the primary use case as a utility knife to take abuse, I would 1000% go with the Fastback 6-in-1 any day. I mean, if my knife budget was $80 like the Ratcheting costs, I'd rather get the Milwaukee Fastback and, say, a Civivi Elementum, both for the same price as the XOU. But hey, that's just me. This might be so compelling to you that the design alone is more than worth it. Speaking of you, I'm curious, what more niche or just plain cool versions of traditional tools do you swear by? Let us know down in the comments so everyone can benefit with new ideas of useful items to check out. I mean, my cousin's daughter gave me this gift last time they visited, saying she chose it because it matches my YouTube channel logo. And side note, speaking of the channel logo, Warriors and Galactic patch sets are available at mauricemoves.com. But going right back on track, after my cousin and the kids left, I genuinely laid on the couch for like 10 full minutes playing with this, and all of the stress of work and client deliverables just vanished. In other words, give me a new tool, even a simple one, and I'll be happy for the rest of the day. But tools at the end of the day are meant to be used, and if you agree, you will definitely want to watch this video right up here. If you're feeling lucky though, this video down here is the one for you. I'll leave them both on screen for a few seconds so you can choose which one to watch next. But while you're deciding, consider liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell so you'll be notified the moment new videos just like this one drop.